2023 has been a fabulous year for gaming, I think it is fair to say. There have been some absolutely outstanding and memorable game releases this year, games that we will be playing for many, many years to come, and there have been some terrible game releases this year. Now, I haven't spent any of my time and resources on playing any of the so-called terrible games this year. This list is a celebration of what I think are the best game releases of 2023. So join me as I take a look at what I believe are my favourite games of 2023, so enjoy. Now, while this doesn't make the list, I wanted to give a special mention to Football Manager 2024. Now, this obviously has been a regular release on the PC for many, many years. And it's only really recently when we've started enjoying it again on consoles, especially on the PlayStation. I've been complaining for many, many years that we needed a really good Football Manager game back on consoles, and we've got it now. And if you're an Xbox owner, you can play this on Game Pass as well. So why wouldn't you? It's a wonderfully in-depth Football Manager experience. It's a game that you will sink endless hours into. I've been playing this pretty much, non-stop since it was released a while ago on the PlayStation. I've put hundreds of hours into this, and it is absolutely worth picking up if you're looking for a huge and really in-depth and performant football management sim. So, here we go with the list then, and coming in at number 10 is WWE 2K23. Now, it's been a while since a wrestling game has made one of my lists, and that's really because they've not been good enough, and it is really that simple. This year, however, 2K have really pulled out all the stops and really delivered this year, and they had to. After the last release that was really a mess, they needed to deliver here. I think the pressure was absolutely on for them to deliver a really good wrestling game. Now, 2K have always gone for the approach of giving us almost like broadcast quality gameplay here, and they are really on point with this game. The universe mode is great. They've got a general manager mode, the My Rise mode. I mean, it's got loads and loads of modes, and it is, I think, a real success this year. Now, coming in at number 9 on the list is Company of Heroes 3. Now, this game really impressed me. I'm a big fan of strategy games. If you follow my content, you know I do play a lot of strategy games. And what we have here is a top quality, like real-time strategy game here. It's superbly crafted. It looks absolutely fabulous. It's challenging at the same time as well, but not frustratingly so. Sometimes you can play these kind of tactical games and tactical RTSs, and they can be too challenging, so you kind of give up or get fed up or frustrated. Generally, when you kind of lose a battle or lose a fight in this game, you know the reason why. You just didn't kind of deploy your squad in the right way, or just outflank the enemy in the right way. It's a superb game, and it's one that you will sink many hours into if you decide to give this one a go. Really great game. Now, coming in at number 8 on my list is Hogwarts Legacy. Now, this truly is a dream come true for Harry Potter fans. It really has to be said. Now, while I wouldn't describe myself as a Harry Potter superfan, I do enjoy the Harry Potter films. I used to watch them quite regularly, certainly when my son was a bit younger. It's not a world that I immerse myself in these days. I don't collect Harry Potter collectibles or anything like that, but I felt compelled to really play this game because I like RPGs, and it just looked like, after all the misfires that we've had over the years in regards to Harry Potter games, it looked like someone had finally delivered a top quality like Harry Potter experience. And while obviously this doesn't have Harry Potter in it, it's set well before that timeline, it is a superb wizarding game from that universe, and fans of the game absolutely clearly adore this one. Now, shooting in at number 7 on my list is Aliens Dark Descent. The top-down, real-time strategy tactical shooter set in the Aliens universe. Now, I don't think any of us really um, expected this one to actually be as good as it was. I mean, it was a bit hit and miss with some fans and critics, but for me personally, a strategy game set in the Aliens universe is just too tempting for me to ignore. I mean, I'm a massive fan of the Aliens franchise. I've reviewed literally all of the movies this year on the channel. So, I mean, this was ripe for me. I put a lot of time into this one and I've revisited it as well. It is such a fun game to play. If you're a fan of this franchise, I think you will absolutely love this game. It's got loads of atmosphere and it's a great game to play. Now, at number 6 on my list is Everspace 2. Now, I have not only played this on my PlayStation 5 and reviewed it, I also played this on the Steam Deck and really enjoyed it too. So I've played it on 2 platforms, this game, and it's been superb on both. But it's just a really fantastic sequel, and it improves on the original, in my opinion, in every single way. The first game was more like a roguelike game. This is like a full-on space RPG, really. It's like a space looter shooter. I mean, the flying is really, really silky smooth. The combat is excellent. The graphics are superb. The explosions, and it's got a massively addictive gameplay loop where you collect and upgrade items on your ship, like new weapons and hull and shields, and then getting new ships as well. I mean, it's got everything. If you like space sims and space combat games, this game really is a dream come true. Now we're getting to the business end of the list, and coming in at number 5 is probably the biggest surprise on this list, is RoboCop Rogue City. And while if you watch my review for this game, you might not be surprised it's made the list, I think what I mean by that is I don't think anybody expected this game to be just as much fun and just as enjoyable as it actually turned out to be. Yes, all the gameplay and all the trailers leading up to its release showed promise, but many of us reserved judgment because this studio really, other than the Terminator game that they delivered a few years ago, which I think is really good, and I have reviewed that this year on the channel, really that is the best game that they've ever really done. So they don't really have a massively brilliant track record, but what we do have here, I think, is one of the biggest surprises of the year. It's just a fun, huge RoboCop experience. The combat's on point. They've got some voice acting talent from the original movie on board. It's just wonderful. Now we come to what is likely to be the most controversial game on this list, because I'm putting Starfield at number 4. The reason for that, quite simply, is I enjoyed my time in this game. I've put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this game, and I really did quite enjoy it. I think on its initial release, this game got quite a lot of positivity, and there's been a steady stream of negativity since then. I don't necessarily understand it. That's not necessarily true. I do understand it to some degree. But for me, this is a Bethesda game through and through. It's got that DNA running right through it. Doesn't take any risk. Doesn't break any new ground. Didn't necessarily want it to, if I'm being particularly honest. But there's an awful lot here to enjoy in this game if you enjoy Bethesda games. The typical old-fashioned format of a Bethesda game. Now we're getting to the heavy hitters, the top 3, and coming in at number 3 on my list is Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the sequel to the incredibly successful first game, Jedi Fallen Order, a game that I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed, and I was delighted with the sequel. I thought in many ways it improved on the original. Very, very good indeed. I thought the combat was absolutely excellent. I thought the production values were outstanding, the voice acting superb, and I really, really quite enjoyed the story as well. Did it build impressively on what came before it? Maybe not. It kind of gave us more and just expanded on it a little bit, but you had more options, you know, there were more things to find. And for me, I just thought it was an outstanding sequel, and long may these games continue. So my top two is probably not going to come as much of a surprise to many of you. I would imagine my top two is going to be very similar to many others. And coming in at number two is Marvel Spider-Man 2. Another exceptional sequel to one of the greatest superhero games of all time, and that is the first Marvel Spider-Man game. This time round, you've not only got Peter Parker, you've got Miles Morales as well, both teaming up seamlessly to take on villains such as Sandman, you've got Kraven the Hunter, and of course, Venom too. So you get, I think, what I think really is here, a better story than the first game. The production values are absolutely top notch. The voice acting is superb too. The graphics are absolutely fantastic, and you just get to live out another superhero fantasy in this game, very much like the first one, but it improves in many areas. So, coming in at number one on my list, and my favourite game of 2023, no surprise here, it is of course Baldur's Gate 3. What can you say about this game that hasn't already been said? A perfect game in so many ways. Obviously, I'm a big fan of RPGs, and this is one of the finest I think I have ever played. The production values here, the voice acting, the combat, the variety of choice that you get in this game. I mean, every aspect of this has been finely crafted to deliver one of the finest, not only RPGs, but games of all time. It is endlessly enjoyable, gripping, and also endlessly replayable. The amount of ways you can play this game is quite staggering, and this is one of those RPGs that certainly I am, but I suspect many of you will be playing for many years to come. An absolute masterclass of a game.